Good morning. Welcome back to White Mountains today, and we're already having a good time. Clare Long is here in the studio
with my bear,
with what's left of her bear that we have here, and we're gonna talk about bears today.
Yes,
and,
yeah, really important to do that.
This has been a bear season or bear summer.
It's going to be kind of a bear season.
So let's talk about let's back up and talk bears first before we talk about what's going on this summer.
Okay, great. Bears are native to this area, native all Canada, all the way down south. You know, they're pretty common mammal around this area here. The black bear are the ones that we only have here. In New England, grizzlies tend to be more west. We only have black bear here. Nuts, seeds, berries, insides of tree bark, small mammals, things that tend to come along their way. Insects, big thing. That's what they eat. Nuts and seeds and berries is their big food source. But garbage, leftover food, cat food, dog food, all that stuff. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Tremendous sense of smell, an ability to smell for miles, and they can range. A female bear can range, meaning their territory can include anywhere from 6 to 20 miles.
Wow.
And a male bear can go up to several times that, at least several times that area. So they're ranging around looking for food, because this is the deal. They're looking to eat right now, and then they're really going to start eating in the fall. But right now they're looking for just the food, and the female are trying to teach the cubs.
Right. Now, how many bear do we have, let's say, in the White Mountain National Forest? I mean, we're up in this area.
Oh, well, yeah, no.
In general.
They haven't all answered the census yet.
Yeah, in general, survey. I mean.
Well, you know, this would be just a really terrible guess. Oh, look. Oh, great. Courtesy of New Hampshire Fish and Game. We also do have a Ranger Minute that talks about bears.
I know.
And what you should do. You've seen it. Yes. Oh, that's great. We're looking at thousands anyways, and that's a real lowball estimate. We're looking at a tremendous increase in population with the changes in the weather and the winters being milder. We're getting a lot more females that are going into the hibernaculum and giving birth, and 2, 3, 5 cubs. Remember last year there was the picture, and they've all lived, I guess. And for those who are interested, the 5 are still, hanging out towards, still around.
And that's amazing, because you don't get that. And so now, were the bear ever hunted down in towards, I don't think towards extinction, but was their population decimated at any time in the last couple hundred years?
Well, end of the 1800s, a lot of the animals, when the whole forested area had been cut by the logging barons and things, because they do need the beech nuts, they do need the seeds and the berries. So for a couple of years, until the raspberries and these early successional plants came in, it was pretty tough, but they're pretty adaptive, and they have a tremendous sense of smell. And I wanted to point out that tremendous sense of smell on this bear skull here for you. If you look up into that nasal, can you see in there?
Yeah,
can you see in there? Can you see? Can you see this tremendous nasal? And they have something that we have too. If you take your tongue and run it up the top of your mouth, in the back of your mouth, don't choke. You'll feel, oh God, you need a napkin. Run it, you'll feel these 2 little slits in the back of your mouth. Okay, yep, that's great. So the vomer, see all those, they look like just little
honeycomb
layers?
Almost,
yeah, kind of a honeycomb. Attached to all of those pieces of honeycomb are these smell sensors. We have them as well, but we don't have them as extensive as the black bear does. So they are actually able to, and I'm going to show you the vomer nasal organ next. They're able to smell at a long, long distance. So you can see right here, there are these 2, there's a slit here, little slit here, and a little slit over here. It's hard to see my fingers covering that one. Can you see those 2 little?
Yeah.
They're little on this one anyways. That's called your vomer nasal organ. And that helps you smell something before you eat it. It's actually, the chemicals are given off, and it's taken up into your nasal area, and your brain registers whether you've eaten it or not. So the bears use this a lot for food sources that they have or haven't had. So you put it in your mouth, and have you ever taken that wine tasting course where you go,
yeah,
instead of, you go, so that's what they wind up doing. They go, and if they've eaten it, then they'll continue to eat it. And if they haven't eaten it before, then they'll spit it out. There. These very large canines are there to help them. They are to rip apart the trees, to get the insects, and they actually will use them sometime to help them climb, as they're trying to get to the beech nuts and the things on the top of the trees.
Now, you mentioned about the raspberries. I would think that one bear would wipe out a raspberry patch in a matter of minutes.
Well,
Do they eat do they actually eat the individual berries, or do they eat the whole plant?
it's all about the berries. It's all about the berries. If the plants get in the way, you know, that's all right. But they are, you know, they're not looking for the vegetation as much as they are for the berries.
So how do they bite them off?
Yeah, and they have tremendous, you know, the long tongues. They almost kind of lick it off.
Oh, okay.
And you know, we'll lick. It's more of a tongue thing. They'll also kind of take their lips, and they have learned that by hanging off. There's the picture that's on the web that shows the bear that's hanging from, somebody's put their bird feeder up and left it up in the summer. You remember, and it's hanging there, and it's got its head back, and it's using its lips to pull the bird feeder closer towards it. So they are a tremendous animal. They are very adaptive, and you know those wonderful claws that they have.
Those big claws.
Those big claws. If you have the door handles that pull up like this, the bears in the area here have learned to pull up that handle. So if you have any food or anything in there, you might want to lock it.
So that in the paper yesterday they showed that. And so let's talk about this summer, because this summer has been
tremendous.
And tremendous. We're hearing bear stories left and right. And so what are we going to do? What do we do about that, Claire?
Tell us, save us.
Save us from the bears, Claire.
Take your bird feeders in first off. If you have bird feeders, there's plenty of food source out there for the birds, and even in the spring, because as soon as the bear come out, they're going for that food source. And if you take your bird feeders in, don't leave your cat food outside, your dog food. Don't leave any kind of food sources outside. A woman in Grafton had an experience with a bear. They called it a mauling, because she went out and she was trying to get her animals as well as the animal food in off of the deck, and the bear was going for the food source. Once the bear gets a positive reward, which is your food or the food that's left out there, it's going to remember that, and it's going to keep coming back.
And the memory is incredible. I mean, we're talking about there's a bear that I know of that has been caught and tagged twice and taken up to Canada. And when they say taken up to Canada, they don't just put him over the border and go get off. They're taking him up in the woods in Canada, and he's come back twice.
Exactly.
And knows exactly where to get food, and has been doing this every night, going for food. And it's incredible, their sense. I mean, you tell people that, really, the bear came back? Yeah, the bear came back from Canada.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's a known food source. There may be all this other food on the way back.
On the way back, yeah.
Yeah, they've passed by, you know, McDonald's, they got it all going, but it's a known food source. They know where they can get it. It's their range. They also have that range. They know there's the females that are there. They know denning areas there, so they're not going to stop on the way down. They're going back to exactly what they know is going to work for them.
How long would it take a bear to travel down from there?
They can run 30 miles an hour, up to 30 miles an hour, so you figure a day or two.
That's incredible.
They want to get back. It's all about the food. You need to keep yourself healthy so they can, you know, the males so they can mate with the females, and the females so they can go into the den. So it's the food.
And the female one, there's an interesting fact that I hope I have right, that that the bears will mate, but the female does not become pregnant until she has gained enough weight, and her body says, "Yep, now you can." Then the embryos will implant.
Right,
and
it's called delayed implantation.
And which I think is just absolutely fascinating. If she doesn't gain enough weight, I say that to people. Imagine if we were like that, you know.
Be perfect.
but
we're pretty good about that weight thing.
But it is amazing. I mean, the bears, they're fascinating animals.
Yes.
And there's a lot of history. So it's kind of one of those things too, that what we don't want to have happen this summer is people to have bad experiences with bears and then suddenly think that bears are a terrible thing, we need to get rid of all bears. Because they're not. They've been here for hundreds and thousands of years.
And we are in their area. You know, they were here first. And this is their...
And they're part of the ecosystem.
Right, exactly. And they keep things like the rodents down. They keep the whole circulation. Their scat, they wind up spreading seeds through their scat. So they're a very important part of the environment here. But you got to be careful, because as what's happening now, the population is increasing because of what's happening with the weather, as well as, you know, we're allowed to hunt bear here, and because the major, you know, their predator, we don't have large predators that will go after the adult bears. So the younger bears, the young cubs, sometimes the male bears will wind up eating the younger cubs, but once they get to a certain size, there's not a lot up here that's going to maintain that population there. And it's interesting, I was reading the other day, and I love this. In the winter, what happens is they go through this hyperphagia, which means they're going to eat. They eat up to 60,000 calories a day, which is the equivalent of 250 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Wow.
And then they go into the hibernaculum, and they go into something, and this is my favorite. I think this is what happens to me. It's called the carnivoran lethargy. Isn't that perfect? Where they just kind of want to lay around.
Like after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, totally. So, so it's not just the turkey high, it's the carnivoran lethargy. I love that one.
Now, if people want to find out some more about bears, where's obviously you guys have some resources.
Yes, on the White Mountain National Forest website, we have some information about what to do with bears and bear encounters. The bear experts are the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department. We share information, we share bear sightings, we share bear interactions and things all together, but they are the ones who are the main drivers of the bear information. So you can go to either their website or go to the White Mountain National Forest website and get some information. Just wanted to remind people, though, that don't feed the bears.
Don't feed the bears.
Do not feed the bears. It doesn't matter. And inadvertently either, don't leave things out, because once they get it, they're going to come back. Well, in campgrounds, there are people who will feed the bears. They think it's great. Oh, let's leave the food out. Take your food out, put it in the cooler, put it in the car, and lock your car. Even if you're out on a picnic and you're going to go for a hike, stick it in the car, get it in the car, because they will remember, and you will be impacting future visitors to the forest. Because if you feed the bear doesn't care whether you're gone. There's no. It's like, hey,
where's Claire?
I know, where's the food? No, it just realizes that there was food in this particular area, and it'll come back and it will start impacting the next people who are in that campsite, or the next people who picnicked at that picnic site. Right. So just think about what you're doing.
Well, Claire, thanks so much for coming
You're
down.
welcome.
As always, it's always good fun, and finding out about bears, especially this year. I think it's very important that we have an understanding of the bears and work with them.
Yeah.
And I'll wrap up with one question. You said that in New Hampshire you can hunt bear.
Yes, you can.
Don't you get cold? Okay. Well, on that note.
Boom. Yeah. Aren't you glad we have Rob? Where would we be without Rob?
So Claire, thanks so much, and we'll be back here in a minute on White Mountains Today.
Oh my gosh, you are.